So we'll talk about QTP. So there's actually no more QTP. It's UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Okay. So we'll just go pretty quick here. So we'll see about one of the script actually. It's not QTP. It's Selenium script, but we'll see here. Okay. So we'll talk about this QTP. It's an automation. Okay. It's a tool. Okay. QTP or UFT or Selenium. It's a tool. Node-REDER. These are tools. Okay. These are used. UFT and Selenium are used as a regression testing. Okay, not QA. Okay. QA is manual. Okay. QA is more of a manual and is UFT and this is not only regression testing. Any regression testing normally are automated. Okay, that means all your test cases will be automated and will be executed. So there will be a different team. You will not be there in that, or you may be involved based on the project, but there will be a different team who will be working on that. Okay, you will. But QA, QA is a different team. Regression testing will be a different team. Okay. So, okay, this script doesn't run actually, but we'll check it out here pretty quick. So this is a script. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's a QTP script or UFT script or Selenium script. This is a similar interface. Even if you're working on UFT, the interface will be similar, not same. Okay, this is the Eclipse. Actually, this is an Eclipse. So that's a open source, and almost you can run. I think seven programming languages from Python, Java, JavaScript, and so on. Okay, so a lot of things this can support. Okay, so this is have this script, and this script is for automating my test cases. Let's say I want to automate my test cases, and automation developer. So there will be an automation developer working on it. Let's say they've got the script, and you put the script here, and you have to run this. Let's see here. Let's try to run. So this one may not be run properly, but let's see pretty quick here. How does this do? See what happens, right? Whenever you're running, you see this. It actually triggers that. Let's say Firefox, right? This is Firefox, and it triggers the Firefox. Okay, and it opens for you, as you can see. Let's wait here. I hope it opens. Yeah. Okay, good. It opened, but this doesn't work because the Firefox is a new version. See, you see here, it opened a Firefox for you, and it enters the URL. Okay, it doesn't does anything here because script is outdated script, but that's what it does. Okay, it opens a Firefox, and put all the information whatever it is here. It goes to that URL. See this URL. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is the URL. It puts that URL into that browser and enters all this information. Okay, they search for information and they click it. Okay, it does automatically. So, you know what? This tool does everything automatically for you. Okay, and once it does, it closes automatically for you. Okay, so this is an example for automation. So this is just an example. No matter you take UFT or this is Selenium with Eclipse. Okay, this is Eclipse. I'm running this on Eclipse on JUnit, and this is a JavaScript. No, this is Java, not JavaScript. Okay, I'm running with JUnit. You can also run without JUnit. Okay, but there is okay. There's so many options here. Okay, so we'll not worry about it. Okay, so this is how your script looks like. This is how automation scripts look like. Okay, doesn't matter if it is in Java, it is in Python, it is in VBScript. It doesn't matter any languages. This Eclipse, as a matter of fact, this Eclipse supports so many languages, but you have to change here. Okay, this is Java. You have to use Java E, and let's see here. You see this lot of options. It even supports. Okay. We just support JavaScript and Python. Okay, it supports Python. Okay, so these are once you code this, you're not coding here. You will be as a tester. You'll be just running it. Okay, so so this is an option. Okay, so this is an option. So Eclipse is an user interface. Okay, it's an user interface for your script. So you have to run your script, right? Where do you run your script? You can't run it in Notepad, right? What happens when you run into this? No option to run it in Notepad. So it's a user interface for to run your script. So that's Eclipse. Okay, so enough of this. Okay, so this was for a demo for you guys to see how the automation script looks like. Okay, but real time it will be a little different. So we just stick to this. Okay, so let's go here. We'll talk about this QTP pretty quick here. Okay, we'll just have an introduction and see. Okay, this QTP has options. First, you have to record. Okay, so this is like record once, play many, right? You can record. You have to record once. Okay, let's say you are recording this, demo.jpg. So this one. And whenever you click this, so this is not like video recording or audio recording. It's it records the whole screen, right? I mean, just like whole screen, what's happening here, and it also helps you to enter values. If you're entering values, QTP also enters that, understands that, and all these buttons. You're clicking on this button. Okay, it actually does all those things. So that's recording. Okay, that's what you do. Okay, not you. QTP does, right? QTP records all this information and stores somewhere, okay, someplace, so that whenever you want to run, the script is generated for in VB scripting. All this coding is actually in VB, and so the script is generated automatically. You're not doing any coding here for now. Okay, for now we are not worried about coding. This script is automatically generated for you by UFT when you record it. Okay, so that's the use. So you can use that script, right? You can use it and you can modify it as per your requirement. Okay, then enhancing test. Enhancing, again, that's the thing, right? You can modify your script. Script is generated for you. Okay, what's the script? It's a VB, VB code, and you can view it, and once you've done that, you can enhance it. That means you want to remove something, add something, parameterize, put a new scenarios and all those things. Or you can, by looking to that script, you can code by yourself, right? Once you look into the code, you'll understand what is the code is doing, right? Now you can write your own code based on that code. Okay, so that's how you can do. That's the enhancing a test. Now debugging it. So debugging means you have some errors in your code. You want to debug it. Okay, so that's the debugging. Okay, so we are not too much into it. Okay, we'll not talk about too much on the coding perspective, but we'll touch base on that pretty quick. Okay, we'll be as a tester, as a QTP tester, as an automation tester. Okay, you will be. Okay, I'm muting everyone. If anyone have any questions, they can unmute their mic. Okay. Okay. So as a QTP tester, you will be, most involved in running. Okay, running the script, not coding the script. Okay, so not mostly, unless you want to go as an automation developer or something. Otherwise, it's not required. Okay, that's the debugging, and then running the test and analyzing the result. So once you run the test, the result is automatically generated for you and stored in a particular place, right? And that you can analyze it. How many scripts have failed? How many tests are failed? You can view it automatically. And then reporting the defects. So that's the process. Once the test is failed, you report the defects. Now, here's the important thing. Now again, you are not supposed to get too many defects here in the automation. Okay, even if you get too many defects in automation, your boss will catch hold of you. Okay, they will ask you a simple question. So why in regression testing? Why not in QA? Why this was not taken in QA? Why this is in automation? Does anyone have any answer? Your boss simply asks this question, right? It's a very good question, and it's a valid question, right? Why these defects are in automation? Why it was not taken before? Because if these defects are taken in the later stage, the more expensive the project becomes. Okay? If you open defects in the development side or at the it's more, it's more good for the company, the save the more budget, right? But if it's taken in the later stage, if it's taken in the testing, that's fine. That's why they had testing. And if it goes into automation, there are too many defects. That's bad. Companies spending a lot of money. And then if there are more defects in the production, that's even worse. They're not supposed to be there any defects in the production, right? This company really gets too much of budget. That would be really stressful, right? So what's happening? Why it was not taken in QA and why in regression testing? What's going on? Okay, so that will be the basic question from your boss. If anyone, so as a matter of fact, not you, not anyone, but it's the person who is taking too many defects in regression testing. QA guys will get caught hold of it. Okay, not anyone else, not developer, not regression guys. It will be you. Okay, so that's the reason you have to open as many defects as possible in QA. Okay, because if this gets more into automation, then you are the one who will get caught. Okay, so let's go to the next. So there are add-ins. They're add-ins because whenever the QTP recognizes, right? Whenever QTP recognizes, doesn't know everything, because if you take an application that might contain a lot of languages, right? It contains Java, it contains HTML, it contains JavaScript, Ajax. If it is in Ajax, ActiveX, of course, if it contains video, then it has that. So these all things cannot be recognized simultaneously by QTP. That's why there is an add-in. So once you have add-in and check mark on it, now that means now it is able to recognize a particular object or particular property by QTP. Okay, so that's the reason you have this so many add-ins to here. Okay, now automation. So somebody asked it, automation tool is a replacement of manual. Not for now. Not for now. But in future it may be, okay, but not for now, because you have to do both. You have to do manual, then you have to do regression. So that's the reason you have regression, right? Automation. Now you cannot just stick to automation. This automation is not fully developed. Let's say if you're doing ETL, you don't have complete ETL process automated. Okay, so you really can't do completely automation. Okay, even a web application or even client application, you want to do automation, that's good, that's great. But if you're skipping manual, then you can't skip it, because right now it's not a really good idea to skip, because not all properties and values will be recognized by QTP or any other tool for now. Okay, so it's not a replacement, it's just an addition for the testing. Automation tool is used for regression testing, not for integration testing. Okay, integration testing you can use it. It's based on the project, but not really. It's not required. Okay, so let's go here. There are modes. There are two modes. That is recording modes and run modes. Okay, so this is how the QTP actually does it. So you have three options here: normal, analog, and low level. It's not option. It's various modes actually. Normal modes is, let's say you are recording this and you're clicking this left click button. So this button you're clicking. That's normal. And there's something called analog recording. Okay, analog recording is something like let's say you are using some instead of buttons you're using tab option. See this? You're using tab. So you need this analog recording. Okay, and then you have this low level recording. Okay, low level recording is kind of this, you're using right click options. See these options, but these are not recorded as low normal recording. You have to go from low level and record down this, because you see here these options displayed here are different. There might be different options based on the applications. Okay, and if you see here, these options are different here. So based on the application, you might also have various options for this. Right click buttons. Okay, so that's low level recording. But these are two modes: a normal mode and fast mode. Okay, based on the applications, based on it, can run this. Let's go to here pretty quick. Let's see here. Here. Okay, good. So here, if you see this is now this is no more this kind of interface. Actually, the interface is completely changed in UFT. So, but we'll discuss about these various options here. Options, or these buttons will be remain, that will remain same. Okay, they might not be same place. What is it now? But they will be there at any, at any place. But it doesn't have to be the same window or same, this is old one. This is QTP 9. So now I think it's 12, I guess, right? UFT 12. Okay, so let's discuss this a little bit. So, okay. So here, so here you can see this is. Oops. This is title bar. Okay, this is called title bar. So normally, all the tools have this title bar. Okay, then you have this menu bar. Menu bar is where you have all the options. If you don't find anything anywhere else, you'll find in menu bar. That's file, edit, view, insert. Okay, that's common in all the place. Okay, that's the menu bar, and then you have this toolbar. Okay, file toolbar. These are shortcuts. Okay, so file toolbar is an option. Okay, so these are like shortcuts. Okay, these are the shortcuts for you. And then you have debug toolbar. Okay, if you have any debug options, you want to debug it. This is the debug toolbar too. And this is testing toolbar, where you want to record and playback. Okay, it's called testing toolbar. And then you have this action toolbar. So action, we'll talk about this action. So to understand this action, so what is exactly this action? Action is kind of, in layman's language, we'll talk about this layman language. Action is notepad. So you have to write your script, right? Where will you be writing the script? Some place, right? Some workplace, right? Just like an example, notepad. You can write your script in the notepad too. So that's, is action here. So you will be having your own workplace to write the script or to, record the script. Okay, that's action. Okay, it's in layman language. Okay, but it's more complicated than that. Okay, so we'll discuss a little bit more on that. That's action toolbar, and then this is a test pane. Okay, this is the keyboard view actually. So you're not looking into the code technically. You're looking into all these objects and properties, values. So that's a test pane, and this is a data table. It's kind of Excel. Excel for QTP, not an Excel, Microsoft Excel. It's for QTP, so it's designed for QTP and it's integrated with QTP, not MS Excel. Okay, so that is data table, and this is a screenshot for whatever you're running your script. Let's say you're running a script, and this is opening a web application and it's running it. You want to see it here, so you can see this. Okay, so this is the active screen. Okay, so let's go one by one here. So if you want a new script, you can generate. This is a new. Okay, even you can find it in file and new. Okay, so these are shortcuts as I told you. And this is open. Okay, if you want to open existing script, you can open wherever it's wherever it's a directory. And this is to save. If you want to save a script. print, if you want to print here, okay, that's an option. And here, let's go to here pretty quick. This is Calty center connection, okay. Now, why do you need this Calty center connection, right? So the reason you have this, let's say automation developer, right? Who is a developer architect? Now, there's a lot of people working in this automation too, right? It's a big company. They might also have business analysts for automation. Okay, I will not be surprised. Then you have this automation developer, automation architect, QA developer, all those people. So a lot of people will be there. So this automation developer, what they do is they write the script, or they design the script, and once the architect guy is done, they put the script into some place, right? Now it's HPLM. Okay, you can put this in the HPLM, and you can connect to this, and you can pull out the script from wherever they have stored, and you can, once you pull out, this will show up, and the script will be show up here. That's the Calty center connection. You can connect to the Calty center, now HPLM, of course. Whenever they have put the script, you can navigate a particular directory, particular folder, and get the script, and you can pull up here. Okay, so that's the reason you have that one. Okay. Somebody asked a question, right? So what's the difference between the developer and architect? So I guess you have to refer to the previous recordings. I think you have to pay attention on the previous recordings. See, when you go to the SDLC process, okay, the architect is the guy who designs everything. Each and everything has to be designed, right? It's a table, how the table should look like, how many columns it has, how many rows it will be there, how much data it should contain, what the billions of data, millions of data, how we are pulling the data. All those are designed by the architect. Okay, the architect guy is the main guy who sees the big picture. Okay, he sees the big picture, and is the one. Okay, it is a big company. Is the one who's supposed to write the mapping document, but not necessary. There's people will be working under architect also. Okay, and that's the architect guy, and the person who sees the big picture actually. Okay, how the data movement should be there. How the should be organized, how the application should be organized, all those things. But developer is only codes. He does only code, gets the mapping document, look the mapping document, start writing the code. That's the difference. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's go to here pretty quick here. So this is Calty center connection, and then you have this, this box. This is called object repository. Okay, so this is called object repository. So now let's see here. Before going to this object repository, let's go a little bit, we'll go one step back, rather 2 steps back here. Okay. Now, first you want to know how does QTP recognizes application. Okay, QTP recognizes based on object and okay, based on the objects. What are the objects? Okay, so let me ask you this question. So, can anyone tell what's an object in a software? It's software, not hardware. I know hardware, but QTP does only for software, not for hardware. So, can anyone tell what's the object? What is an object in software application, or in software world? Okay, object is an entity. Anyone else? See, you guys have to be proactive. Okay, so that's what I'm saying, right? If you are not responding to the questions, then you'll be having a hard time at workplace. I'm telling you, really, it's it's not for me, it's for you. Okay, you have to respond to the questions. So that's the reason the questions are for. Okay, instance of class. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so here, there's so many people. Okay, now here what we take as an object as a QTP point of view, right? I mean, it's not just QTP point of view, any application point of view. Okay, an object is something which contains property and its value, right? So an object always contains a property and value, right? What's the property and its value? Property in sense, let's take an example here. Okay, let's take an example. We better understand the example. So this button, okay, I'm clicking this button, right? This is a button. Okay, good. Now this is an object. Okay, now as a matter of fact, everything is object. This image is also an object. Okay, this text. Okay, this is a table. Okay, you cannot see the table, but that's also an object. Okay, so we'll take it simple here. This button is an object. Okay, now it contains properties and its value. So what are the properties? So here you see this is okay. Let's be more. If you see this button, right, it has, if you see this has height and length, right? It's not a 3D button, it's a 2D, right? It only has height and length. It doesn't have breadth, right? If it's a 3D, then you also have this breadth, height and length. So that is a property. Okay, it's a height, so this can be called as height. What is the length? This can be called as a length. Okay, and let's say length is 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter, or height is 0.5 centimeter or something like that. That's a value, right? Property and this value, and not just only two. There are so many properties of an object. Okay, it contains height, length, okay, breadth. Of course, it's not a 3D, so it doesn't contain any breadth. It's HTML tag, title of the button. So all these are properties. What is the value? And the value for what? The value is always a number, right? So the number, whatever respective to that particular property, is called value. It can be 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, or a height 0.5 centimeter, 0.6. So those are called property and its value. Okay, so that's an object. Object is something which contains property and value. Okay, so that's how whenever QTP recognizes, let's say if you have to recognize this button. Okay, now QTP have to recognize unique values. Okay, unique property and its value. Okay, unique property, all the properties are the same, but has to find out unique value for these properties, right? There are 3 buttons. Now, if you take an example here, 3 buttons. If you click this button, enter GMO online. But how does QTP know that you have clicked that? Okay, you have clicked that, that's fine. But QTP doesn't know, because all this button size are same, right? There's height same, length same, right? All these 3 buttons. So which button to click? So QTP doesn't know. So that's the reason QTP identifies only the unique property, unique value of that property of that button. You not this button, anything that is there in the web page. Okay. So what is the unique? The title of the button. See this title, enter GMO online. So that's you can put when you're coding it, you have to put this. Okay, this is for coding purpose. Okay. Now, if you want to click this button, you have to put enter GMO online, a mandatory property, mandatory value for that particular property. Then only QTP understands that, okay, this is the button I have to click, so I'll click this button. Okay, so that's how QTP recognizes, an object or, any modules in an application. Okay, so that's all properties and values are stored someplace, right? If you're recording it has to store someplace where it is stored in this object repository. Okay, that is the use of this object repository. Okay, so let's go to the next one. You see this man with the hat guy? Okay, now the reason this guy is there, because now, of course, I don't know what the property, I don't know what the value for this, right? I have to know from somewhere else. So that man with the hat guy is called object spy. So that guy spies this and lets you to know what are the properties and what are the values for that particular object. So if you see here, you can view also in the code, but it's really not a good idea to view this. But anyway, we'll just check it out pretty quick. So let's say even if you don't know, okay. So here if you see this, even the code is designed with property and its value. Okay, so this is, you see this the small code for this button. See this code, right? Now this is also has this properties. Everything is with property and values. If you see this input type is a property and this a button is a value. Name be submit. Okay, they put the name this way. Since this is the JavaScript, this is and this value for that property, title of the button is enter GMO online. So this is the unique property. I'm sorry, unique value for that property. Okay. Now this is really not a good way to, as a tester, we don't want to look into the code. It's not our job. The developer has to look at it. So we really don't worry about that one. It's just to view it that even we have this property values in the code too. So no big deal. So anywhere it will be used. Okay, so let's go to the next. Now this is the debug toolbar. Okay, if you have any, let's say you want to run the script. Let's say you're running the script, right? For example, let me show you the similar script show you, right? I'll just show you pretty quick again, people who joined late. See here. Okay, so now we'll go to that. And then we have this testing toolbar. Okay, these are, if you want to record an application, you can use this record button. And if you want to run it, you can run it. And stop. This is disabled because it's only enabled when you run that. I'm sorry, when you record it. When you record it, this will be enabled. And this is action. As I told you, right? If you want new action, you can get a new action. And you can also split an action. Okay, you can just split an action. And these two things, you see this is called start transaction time and end transaction time. Okay, and this will really open up. So we'll go to pretty quick here, start transaction and time and end transaction time. So why do we require this? Let's say you want to view the granularity of an application, right? That means, let's say you want to know how much time taken, how much, what it's trying to do from this button to, let's say we're putting some value in this button. Okay. Now this is you have taken some time, right, to movement of from 3 pages, right, almost 3 pages from first, second, and third page. So what is the time taken, and what's happening? How much time it is taken to move from one page to another page? That is all recorded in start transaction time and end transaction time. That's the reason. That's where you get the time actually. How much the time is taken. Okay. Now these two are low-level recording and low-level recording. Okay. And okay, so pretty quick we'll check here debug toolbar. Let's say if you are using debug toolbar, let's say this is the code, right? This is the code in Java, so don't worry about it. This language is not a problem. So now you want to debug it, right? You want to debug, and if you are running in half script, you want to run only till here, and you want to use this, and you want to run this. You see this debug option. You can debug it. That means if you want to check only this part of code and you want to run it, so that's called debugging. And you don't want to run all this code because all this code, is later part. You want to see this code is good or not. So that's called debugging. Okay, it's more of a developer point of view, not for us, but still. Okay, so that's options you have for debug toolbars. Okay, next we'll go to this test pane. Okay, see this test pane has various columns. This is an item. Item is normally the objects. What are the objects in an application? Okay, so this object, so if you're taking this parent object, so this parent object is web browser. It's actually the parent. Okay, you cannot get any child objects other than before this parent object. browser is a parent object, and whatever it comes, later is called child objects. Okay, Enter Online, of course, this is a child object because first parent object is this browser. After that, this images and all those. And later, this comes this. So that's how this is classified. If you see this, this is a parent, and it has the child objects, and it has this many other child objects. Okay, so. These are the objects in operation. So what kind of operation are you performing in that object? Okay, is it a button? So it's click. Is it a drop down box? Then select. Okay, and is it a radio buttons? Then dot set. Okay, and is it a password? Then set secure. Okay, so you have secure options. That means password is nobody views password. It's encrypted inside the server, and no one knows. Unless you decrypt it, no one knows what was the password of it. So that's why it's secure. Okay, and that's the operation you're trying to perform. And what's the value for that is actually the value of that particular property, right? And then what he's trying to do is in documentation. So this is a little bit on keyword view. It's really, this is not about code. Code will be in the expert view actually. When you click on this expert view, you can view the code, but the code will be similar as I shown you, right? That is a Java, but this would be on VB scripting. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so this is a little bit on QTP, and this is a data table. This data table, whenever you put the data, right? Let's say you want to do parameterization. Okay, so we'll go to that for parameterization. We'll have a separate topic. So the reason you need parameterization, right? Let's take an example here. Let's say I'm recording. Okay, I'm recording with this, and everything is good. Okay, so I've recorded all this information. Okay, now I recorded once, right? Now like this, there are millions of records, right? There's millions of people of this name, right? There are millions of people of this different address, of course, not same address, right? And there's different cities, different states, okay, different zip code, right? And different phone number. Okay, but I recorded only for one. You understand this? Only one. Okay, now I cannot record from millions of people. That makes no sense. Okay, I recorded only for one. That's for one. That's good. Now what I do is I change the values for this. I change instead of my name, I'll just put it, put some variable there, a variable like name, and put all the data here. Sorry, here. Can you see this data? All this data I'll be putting here, name. So what it does is instead of using this value, you just put a variable. Instead of putting the value, put the variable. And what I tell to this is, why don't you look into this data table? I'll tell QTP, why don't you look into the data table? And once it looks into the data table, there are millions of records. Okay, good. Start running it. Okay, that's called iterations. Okay, it runs one after the other, keep on until this data is completed. Okay, so that is called parameterization. Does it make sense? So we'll go a little bit quick here. We have this time, but we'll go pretty quick there. And this is active screen. If you are using, you can see the screenshot. It's kind of screenshot. Whatever you're running the script, it shows up here. It's kind of screenshot. It's taking screenshot for you and showing up here. So that's called active screen. Okay, so we'll just go into the next slide. Any questions so far? So that is pretty old. Okay, it's old. So, but the options remain same. Okay, the options might be in a different place, but you'll be still having those options. Okay, somewhere or other. Okay, those recording playback would be same in any automation tools. It might be a load runner. It might be a load runner is a non-functional tool. Okay, it doesn't do about functional testing. or Selenium or Qt or UFT, okay, anything, the current playback will be same. Okay, so let's go in here. So now let's object repository. So we already talked about this object repository. Remember? Let's see here. So it shows about information about what is a property. So this is a property and its value for that particular property. Okay, now these are the objects. Okay, you can also add your own objects. Okay, you can add your object here. Okay, and you can export an object. Okay, there's an option. An object spy, if you want to know what's property and values for that, you can view it. Okay, so this is actually this is about object repository. It stores information about the object. What's the property, what's the value, it's all this. It's just only 3, but there are many more, like almost 20, okay, because how much it is linked and what is the HTML tag, what is the title, all this will be there. But for here, they showed only 3, okay. Let's go to here. So Object Spy, we talk about this. Object Spy helps you to figure it out what are the property and what is the values, okay. All this will be shown up here. So here the properties will show you this is what is the value for that particular property. It will be showing you. Okay. So let's go to the next. So as I told you, right, how does QTP recognizes an object? So there are 3 properties: mandatory property, assistive properties, and ordinary identifier. Usually only few properties are required to uniquely identify an object. As I told you, right? For example, this button. This is enter GM online. How does QTP know that you have to click this button? Now the unique property is the title of the button, enter GM online. There is no other title of the button of the same name, right? Remaining all properties may be same. All the values might be same for all the 3 buttons, but except one, the title. So that's how QTP recognizes the object. So this is more important for coding point of view. If you're coding, you have to put that unique value. Otherwise, the script doesn't run. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Synchronization. So why do we need this synchronization? So what happens, let's take an example here. Now there is a script that has to run, right? Let's say okay, so there has to be an application. Let's take an example here. This application has to run, right? One after the other and one after the other. And let's say the server is slow. Yes, for some reason server gets slow. We know, right? This hardware problem, something. Okay, the server is a little bit slow. Not always software. Okay, sometimes the hardware problem. Okay, now what happens? This application moves little slow here. Okay, instead of microsecond, it's taking some 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or 5 seconds, right? But it's moving to the next page. Okay, so here it's moving to the next page, but it's taking a lot of time, not that fast. So what happens, right? Now QTP doesn't know. If it doesn't move the page with some microsecond or some millisecond, it says the application, it says the script gets failed. Script gets failed, and QTP doesn't know that server is slow, right? So, but we know. So what you want to do is you want to write one line code is wait. There's a code called wait. See this? Wait 10. That means you're telling QTP to wait. That means the script is running and this application is slow. So whenever you write one line, just a piece of code here, wait. Simple, right? I mean, just saying QTP to wait. This in bracket 10 means 10 seconds. 5 is 5 seconds. Okay. So. And this is a little bit of code, so we'll see this code nearby. So this is how you can use it. You can go to this menu bar, you go to the insert step and synchronization. You can get synchronization option. Okay, so we'll see this code in a moment. So how you can write a code for here. Okay, so here checkpoint. Okay, checkpoint is, it's, you want to, verify. It's a manual. I mean, it's a manual in the sense you have to view the screen. Okay, you have to view. QTP doesn't view. QTP just highlights that, and you have to view that. So that's manual verification of some value. So here we see the there are 8 types of checkpoints. Okay, let's take an example here. So if you want standard checkpoints, if you don't know if there is any checkpoint, you can use standard. Okay, you can use that standard checkpoint. Then you have this image checkpoint. If you are checking some image, let's say this, it's called image checkpoint. Okay, so it's the image. You want the checkpoint here, and this is called image checkpoint. Table checkpoint. Okay, so now there is a table here. Okay, so you cannot see here because it's currently not available, but you want to view it. Okay, you want to see that. So you have to go to the code and see this. You see this table? Okay, great. So this is the table. Okay. So table value is border cell spacing is width 100%. So that's the table. You want to checkpoint that, so that's called table checkpoint. Okay. So here you cannot see it because it's not visible. Okay. So that's called table checkpoint. Now, if you want the page checkpoint, you can hold page. Whole page you want to checkpoint, that's called page checkpoint. Okay. Then you have text checkpoint. Okay. If you want to checkpoint is text. Okay, something like online. You want to see this. Is it visible or not when QTP is running? You want to use text checkpoints. Okay, that's the reason of having text checkpoints. Okay, and then you have text area checkpoint. If you want to know the area between the text, okay, then you can also use text area checkpoint. Then bitmap checkpoint is similar to image. Bitmap is kind of image, and you also use database checkpoint. Okay, so database checkpoint is whenever you're, if you are connecting to a database, this any Oracle database or something, then you can checkpoint that too. It's called database checkpoint. So you don't have to. So somebody asked some question, right? You have to use the developer tool for checkpoint. No, it's only for your knowledge. Because see, if I tell you this is a table here, so you will say, where is the table? I don't see anything, right? Anyone would ask that same question, right? As a matter of fact, I even asked, okay, where is the table? No, I don't see any table. So that is for your knowledge that there is also a table. That's why I'm going to this code. Okay, because there's a table here. Only thing is it's not visible. So that's the reason I'm going to the code. But you don't have to go to code unless specified. Okay, it's not code. We don't really check the code. Okay, it's only for your knowledge, for your information, not okay. Because that would not make any sense for you if I tell table checkpoint, okay, where is the table? And I don't see any table here. Okay, so this is the table, right? So this you can see this table because this is visible, but this is not visible. So you can even do for that too. Okay, so that's the reason I have to go to the code and show you, but you really don't have to go to the code to view that. Okay. So I mean, it actually depends. So it's based on the projects. Okay, however the project is, sometimes visible tables are fine. This is a visible table, right? So this makes more sense for a tester point of view. Okay, for invisible tables like this, you have to check. We also should we do for this all the tables or only with visible tables? Okay, so that's very good. You have to check with lead and check it out so that we are doing for all the tables or not. Okay. Okay, so let's go to pretty quick here. Parameters. Let's talk about this parameter. As I told you, parameters are actually, you want to use parameters because let's say example here. You are running only once, right? You're only running once. Okay, these are the objects, and no, these are the operation, and these are the value, right? And um, you're only running once, but you have multiple data to run, like millions of data. So you're not running million times, right? You want to parameterize all this. Let's say here, this is a flight from, and London is a value. Okay, you're removing the value and putting there as some variable. Okay, and you're telling QTP to, why don't you look into the data table? No, that's the data table used for. Okay, and let's see here how this goes. And you're putting that, and you're configuring the item here. Instead of constant, you will click parameter. Okay, once you put parameters, you specify the name, what name you want to put it. Okay, and there's the two options here. You want to look at the global sheet or current action sheet. Okay, you can check that options of global sheet. Okay, and once you have done that, here you see this, you put many other values. Okay, let's see here. You see this, now you have so many other values for that particular. So now there's two variables, that is from two. Okay, it's two name, and the values are London, Paris, Denver. Okay, so these are the values. So instead of putting that one value or multiple, checking for multiple values. Okay, so that's what you use for parameterization. Okay, and you can upload the data however you want. It's just a lot of data to be run, and you can upload it as per however it is, or manually. You have to do manually. So manually it's not possible, because if you're running for some hundreds of thousands of data, manually you're not able to do that. It's not really efficient solution. You have to upload the data from Excel or import it. Okay, once you do that, you can able to run it. Once you run it, um, this is the result is generated by QTP. It's automatically result. It's generated, and so there's a lot of options here. How the test case has been, and how it's been, how many has passed, how many is failed, and what's the warnings. Okay, let's go to the next one pretty quick. Again, we'll go to this various types of actions here. So as we know, action is kind of worksheet, right? It's a worksheet. For example, Notepad, you can write the code in the Notepad too, right? So I mean, it's way more complicated than that, but this is for a, being a little bit layman, that you can call it as worksheet. Now, these actions is classified into two types: this regular action and reusable. Regular is non-reusable, that means you cannot use it. Reusable in sense you can reuse it in multiple projects. Let's say you have written some code, right? And you want to recall that function. Let's say you have written some function, and you want to recall in every script. Then you want to use this action as reusable and dump that file into the library file, and you can recall it whenever you want. That's the use of reusable action. Okay. And then it's two types, then locally and external. Locally in sense, it's in your system, on your machine. It's locally. Externally in sense, it's connected to all, team members, and, anyone can able to access it. It's called locally and external. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So here you have the option. You can call a new action. You can copy, an existing action. Here you can specify here in the action properties, reusable, or you want to only once. Okay, the options available. Okay, next go to the next one, recovery scenarios. So what exactly is this recovery scenarios? Okay, let's take an example here. Now you have to run this, the QTP runs 40 hours script, right? There's a 40 hours, it takes 40 hours to run the script. It's a pretty long script, a lot of data into it, and it has to run, right? And what happens, right? Let's say there is some issue, some hardware failure, something, and suddenly some pop-up window shows up. Some pop-up window, we know it's not really the case because in production it will be different, and because since we are running in test, there's some issue with the hardware, and there's. But for some reason, pop-up window shows up, and QTP don't know what to do because the whole script is running for 40 hours, and um, 38th hour, you get this pop-up and the whole script is gone. Then you have wasted a lot of time, 2 days, almost 2 days, okay? And the script gets failed on 30th hour. So this is really not good. So what if there's such kind of scenario like pop-up, you want to tell QTP that if any pop-up window shows up, ignore it and run the remaining script. Okay, so that's an recovery scenario. So that's an example of trigger event. There are 3 other options: trigger event, recovery options, post recovery option. Okay, that was just an example for trigger event for pop-up window. You see this? You also have the other options like object state. If the object state is different, you can use this option. Or if you test an error, for some reason there is an error or application crash, you can use any option, okay, on this. So that is the recovery scenario. Go to the next pretty quick here. So we'll talk about this descriptive programming, okay. So why so you already have the recording and playback, right? You can record once and play many times. You can not just once, you can play many times. Okay, just parameterize the script and that's it, done. But here, this is really not the case in every time because there is a static application that's good. There is something called dynamic applications. Now, dynamic applications, the buttons keep on changing, scripts keep on changing. A lot of things happen. So you doesn't really record and playback is no more useful because scripts gets a lot of errors. Okay, a lot of errors, and you cannot even run the script. So now what you want to do is you want to use descriptive programming. So what here you are doing coding by yourself. You're not depending on record and playback anymore because the script generated by record and playback is not useful because all the objects were different and object repository actually stored in a different place. But now the properties, values are not being changed completely. So it's really no point of doing record and playback every time. That's the reason you want to use descriptive programming. So let's see here how we can do. Let's go through a little bit on the code. So how you do this descriptive programming? So let's pretty quickly look into this code. Okay. So so window error. Okay, win button. Okay, let's take an example here. So obviously that's not the code for this button, but just for ease of convenience, we'll take this an example. Let's take a Gym Online. Okay, good. So once you have used this, okay. Now I'll just click on button. Okay. So if you see this, now I just click this button, okay. So saying the pop-up window saying that please order something, okay, first, okay, good. Now Let's view this code here. Now this is something called window. Okay, this is a window. This is a window actually. Okay, so this pop-up window can be called as pop-up window. Okay, these are the naming conventions. Okay, you can have multiple names. Error. So it's supposed to be an information here. There's no information. So this is actually the error, right? Everybody agrees, right? This is an error. This is actually supposed to be some options here, like it's saying the error of the window, right? This is not here, obviously. So this is an error. Okay, so that's what they're showing the title of that, showing as error. And let's go back here. Win button. So since you are using this win button, so these buttons are all called as win button. This pre-coded in the UFT. This is always called as win button. Okay. And then here you're writing your property and its values right here into this. Okay, what is this? Text is equal to OK. This is the text, of course. This is the text, right? Title of that button is OK. And what you're trying to do? Width is 50. Okay, that means the width of this is 50. Okay, that's fine. And what you're trying to do is that click. That means let's click it or click. So that is a small piece of code for this error button. Let's see, I'm trying to click it, right? I mean, this is a pop-up showing that, so window, this is the error button, window, this is error. Okay, this option is not showing, okay, but, okay, and you're trying to click this button, that means that's what you're saying, dot click. Okay, if it is a button, you say dot click. If it's a drop-down box, you say dot select. And if you are using, radio buttons, you say dot set. And if you are using password and you said set secure, okay, so these are pre-coded, pre-coded all this into the UFT. So it's not something new. It's already there. Once you start typing, this shows the options for you. Okay, so that's what it is. So this is one line code for that. Click just OK button. Okay, so this is what is called as descriptive programming. You want to write all code by yourself. You don't want to depend on record and playback. Record and playback not useful if it is dynamic web applications. As a matter of fact, any dynamic applications you cannot use record and playback. Why? Because all the objects, all the repository, whatever is stored in the object repository are outdated, and they keep getting outdated. Because the object button was here, suddenly it got changed, property got changed, value got changed, now it's useless. So that's the reason if you're using this, if anything gets changed, you can just edit right here, remaining all code will be saved. Okay, this is an example for QFT. And the similar way, so somebody else, this sanity testing is performed with the tool. So it depends on the project. It's not like for every project you don't do sanity testing. It's sanity testing is kind of version testing, right? So it based on completely based on the project, not on individually. Cannot say in general. No, in general I would say no. I would not say sanity testing will be done in this UFT. Okay. So, but it's based on the project. Okay. However, the project is based on that you have to perform that. Okay. So if you see this, oops. So this is how your actually the code will be there. This is for Java. Okay. But normally if your VB script, all this will be there in the VB script and UFT. Okay. So I'll be giving you this. Let's see here. People who have old Firefox, right? can use that Selenium, Selenium WebDriver, no, not WebDriver, Selenium. And I'll be giving you that URL. Okay, you can plug in. There's a plugin. Once you put in, you can generate your script, and you can see that if you want. So I'll be giving you a little bit information on that. Okay. Right. That's good. Selenium IDE. That's good. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. Thanks. Selenium IDE. Okay. If you are having the old browser, I don't think new browser has updated Selenium IDE, so we'll just see if you can downgrade Firefox, or old version of Firefox you can use. Still you can use it, okay, and generate the code for yourself and look into the code. You will have a better understanding. Okay, export the code and use it someplace like Eclipse and see, try to run yourself and see if you can do it. Okay. So you'll have better understanding how to run the scripts. Okay. Any more questions? Any other tool to perform integration testing? There might be so many tools, okay, but manually it has to be done manually, integration. So integration testing you have to do manually. Okay. So normally there is also called a SIT, the system integration testing. Okay. In that normally developers perform that SIT testing. Okay. So mostly it will be manual. So all this will be manual testing. Only the regression part and the performance part will be automated. Remaining all will be manual. Okay. So somebody asked, right, who perform the system testing. So system testing, so I think you have to go back to refer the videos, okay, because system testing is performed, it's QA, they're mostly QA testers, okay, QA are, um, so it's more of a, client applications. System testing is more of a client applications, not web applications, okay. So based on the requirement, you have to perform the testing. So I think you have to go back and refer all the videos and see if you can find this. So that was first class actually, first or second class. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. So it was the first class. You have to go back and refer those videos and see if it makes sense. So of course, all these testings supposed to perform by the testers. Okay, some QA tester or UAT tester or regression tester or performance tester, whoever. So all of people are testers. Okay, so it's all like the project, how the project is designed, and all those things. Based on that, so again, at the end of the day, it's a testers. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? So tomorrow, we'll go, we'll really check on certifications because few people have completed the certification. Today was certification, right? Only few people have completed it. Okay. Let's see here. Only two people. There's only two people have completed. So if people have um, time. Like let's see here. We'll go tomorrow and see. You know um, how we can people who have a hard time to understand that. So we can refer that and see some of the interview questions also we'll look into. Okay. Okay. If no questions, can we close this class for today? Okay. Thank you, guys.